Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to show you part one of how to make my watercolor lapbook. This lapbook was one of the first things I ever made with papers once I started getting into papers. And it's just basically folded books over top of each other that I gutted and made into these opening. It opens all the way over with little compartments and things like that that are basically essentially holding my watercolors. So these are my little Winsor Newton packs that I've had a very long time and I get a lot of use out of. And when the mood hits me, I just break out my little watercolors and I play with them, and then I keep them in these little pockets. And they're little samples of little sketches I've done in watercolor. So, and then sometimes I might pull them out for, ephemera for books or anything like that. So basically, I've had a few people ask me how to create these little lap books, and I'll tell you, I just kind of make it up as I go, which is what I'm going to do today. If you really want to see how to make a wonderful lap book, I was inspired by Nick the Booksmith. She kind of turned me on to building lap books, and so if you really want a professional look and a real step-by-step tutorial, I would check her out for sure. I'm sorry, my desk is a absolute disaster. I've been on a creative roll and nobody has time to clean when they're creative. Right? So I'm going to start with these cardstocks that are basically off the back end of my used watercolor pads. So it's these pieces here, this cardstock. So as you can see, very little goes to waste. So you want to have a few of these, and you can make this book, you can make this book any size you like. You can also use cardboard, whatever you have on hand. This time I thought I'd make, because I already have a watercolor lap book, I thought I'd make a much smaller one that I can take with me and throw in my purse kind of thing. So I'm kind of inspired by this size, which if you've watched other videos of mine, I got a whack load of these thank you cards, and I really like the size. The size works for me. And the size of these are, let's see here, are 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. So that's what I like. This original book is, let's see here, 8 1/2 by just 5 3/4, and the spine, which is pretty important, is just 2 1/4 inches. So the spine is important because it allows you to determine how much goodies you want to fit in here. So our biggest, fattest thing that we need to fit in will be our paints. So in this case, I have a tin, and what's beautiful about watercolors, you don't have to buy tubes. You can buy these little pans. They're called pans. This is a quarter pan. Whoops. Forgive my fingers. Like I said, I've been painting and doing stuff all day. This is a quarter pan, and this is a full pan. And inside is, you can buy all kinds of different colors, and you can just fill your little tin. And here's my little mini Winsor Newton paintbrush, which I also can keep in there. So these little tins I got off like a Colgate gum. And they're great. Like, they hold whatever you need. So this holds little stitch holder things for my sewing, which I was using earlier. So as you can see, this is the widest thing, the deepest thing that we have to accommodate for in our lap book. So with that being said, we want to start building the book. So I like to use this size because I plan on using a lot of the envelopes that came with these cards and turning them into pockets to hold my watercolor paper. So let's find an envelope because they are slightly bigger than the cards. So I'll take one of these. So whatever size you want to work with, whatever materials you have. And basically I'm just going to mark this with a pencil. Oh my gosh, so much stuff. Sorry, a pen. And take it to my little cutter. And I'm going to give it a little extra, just a little extra. In this case, I am using a paper cutter because you do want your book straight, otherwise it won't close properly. Normally, I just kind of go for it, whatever works, but this time I do want to make things a little wider. So I'm going to give it about, what's that, 1/8 of an inch width over top of my mark. Just going to give it just a wee bit bigger than the envelope. And of course this is thick cardstock, so I'm going to bend it. Put it on the other side and cut down that line, and it should hopefully go through. You can use an X-Acto knife. I think my blade's pretty toast. Okay, there's one, and there's the other mark there. Give it a little bit more height than width. So maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. Maybe that is 1/8 of an inch there. Oh, it went right through. So there we go. There's one, and I'm going to need 6 of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm going to need 4 of these. So we'll just trace this out. And I haven't prepped anything. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going with the flow here. So if you don't want to watch this part, I totally get it. I will be having to break this up into a few videos. Put some muscle into that. In order to do this whole Lapbook. But Nick the Booksmith, her channel is great. She's very, very organized and neat and tidy and professional, and she does some beautiful Lapbooks, so I'd totally check her channel out. And she does all kinds of wonderful paper ideas. She's the one, actually, I caught a video of hers a couple of years ago, and I like textiles and sewing and things like that. Most of my paper I just drew on. And then when I started watching her channel, I realized how much fun junk journaling can be. So she kind of got me hooked. And it's been nonstop since. So thanks for that. Because now I'm completely addicted. So I'm just going to mark a line on this piece because I need a spine. We're going to need 3 spines. I'm going to start with this one. I'll measure all this after because, like I said, I'm totally winging it. And I want you to make a book that is gauged for the size and interest for your own stuff. Don't have to make this size. So that might be too wide. It might not be wide enough. So that will, if you can see it, will be this part of the book. So we can measure this now. This is, I don't know if I'm off camera or not, this is 3 inches. So it's pretty fat, but I think we'll go with 3 inches because we can do 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch. That might be too big. You know what? Let's go down to 2.5 inches. I think that will be plenty because I don't want the book to be overly thick. I do want to travel with it. But the thicker you make your spine, the more you can put in your book. So you can do anything Lapbook. You know, you could do botanical surveying, you could do bird watching, you can do all kinds of things. For me, it was watercolor because watercolor is pretty lightweight and simple and easy to carry along. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way for a second and tape it before I screw up. So all I do is I put my pieces down. Hopefully they are cut straight. This one doesn't look very straight. Oh my gosh, I have so much stuff. I've been working on classes for my seniors to keep them creative and some other programs of arts and crafts. And so I'm just swamped with all kinds of stuff on my desk. All right. So what I like to, I just eyeball it. I like to leave what I think is the width, maybe just a little bit more than the width of this so that the book can hinge without getting caught on itself. So I put a little space in that spine, and then I just use tape. This guy here. It's a brand new roll. I probably should have found the end before I started this video. Oh, there it is. And I'm just going to tape it down as best I can. So I'll try and line it up as straight with my eyeballs. And down it goes. Flip it over, lock that in. All these are getting covered, obviously, with some pretty paper of some kind. And then I'm going to tape inside, if I can find the edge again. That just ripped right off, so. Come on. It's always this way when you're filming, right? Nothing ever goes smooth when you're filming. Okay, so there's another piece going down. I find this tape pretty strong. You can use any tape you have. You do want to make sure it's a tape that glue will stick to. So when you go to glue your paper down, it won't peel off. So some masking tapes have a plastic coating on them and won't let you peel it off at the end. So just watch what tape you're using there. So basically building a book. Cover a back and a middle. And tape that down. Pull it forward, and then I just bend it, make sure that it's flexible. All right, so there's our book. So now we want to build our pieces here, our spines and our book that goes in. So let's do that. So basically I take the same size so I can line it up here, and I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter. So again, you can measure, but I'm just going to trace it. And then when I go to cut it, I'm going to take about 1/8 of an inch off so that you'll see in a second, so that it doesn't get caught up on itself on the inside. Do the same this way. The length you can keep the same. The length can stay the same. Oh, that wasn't a very straight line. And again, you can measure all this out. I'm just going to do another one while I have it. Is that even straight? Jeez Louise. What is this measure? Yeah, it's straight. Something throwing me off visually. Okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line it up and trace it and cut it. So this one I obviously don't have to take the extra off because we've already done that. Move that over slightly. X-Acto knife would probably be much better on your pork cutting machine. But this doesn't get much use. At least it hasn't in a long time, because I'm too lazy to pull it out. It's the first time I've had it out in a long time. So that other spine we have in the book measured 2.5. So I'm going to take these down to 1 inch each. Hope I'm not moving the camera too much. So this is going to be 1 inch. That gives me a little bit of wiggle room in the middle. That's 1 inch. And then we'll do 1 inch on this one. So I'm 1/2 inch short of the other spine. I just crease it a bit so I can make sure I get the inch. So I did measure it wrong. Okay, and then I want the length. So I'm just going to mark the length. And mark the length. This is kind of the part I don't like, is the actual building of the book. I like the decorating part. Building the compartments, figuring out how to put my paints in. Those are the stuff, that's the stuff I like. But I wanted to walk you through all of it. And where's my mark? Here it is. Okay, we got our pieces. So we'll glue these down now. Tape, sorry. So hopefully I'm in frame here. I'll move all this stuff. So much stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna put this guy here, like this, and then this guy here. I just do want to make sure he's a little shorter, which he is. And then this guy here, and we're going to tape that. And again, leaving some distance here to accommodate the width of the cardstock. The heavy cardboard. It's cardboard, I guess. Heavy cardboard. I'm sure it has a proper name. Let's throw that down. Yeah, and like you can tell, I am not big on being perfect. Any of my videos, you'll see that. It's just not my thing. I don't like the stress. If I put too much pressure on, I'm bound to screw it up. Then if I just let myself enjoy the creative process without worrying about the end result, and knowing in the back of my head that anything I do create or while I'm creating screw up on, I can fix. Like this, none of this is at all permanent, right? Okay, so that's one side. Let's do this side. Here's the other one. And where's my spine? Here it is. I'm sure if you're into junk journaling, you've seen this process before. And you can just keep building more and more pages going out. I mean, all you have to do is accommodate the width of the spine. So you kind of have to have a little bit of an idea of what you want to create in your head before you start. Well, I've gone and done it again. And that will allow you to build out as many fold outs as you like. So I like to do the 2 fold outs with the hardcover and then little mini ones with soft paper after. I'll show you that as the video progresses. So there we go. It's going to go on. Whoops. That didn't stick. I missed it. There we go. That. More paper. More tape, sorry. Okay, so there we go. Now we've created the book. So if it's to stay like this, the width-wise, you can see there's space in the middle here, so you could tie a sketchbook in here against this spine, and it would have room to sit in this little valley here, which is, I like that. You can, if you don't want that and you want these to sit together, then you would want to make this piece 2.5 inches like this. But I like leaving an option of space in the middle. So that's the width of our book, which is pretty thick, but still gives us lots of room to play. And one of the things we do have to accommodate, like I said, is the paint itself. Whatever little tray you want to use, you have to make sure that your spine in one place is at least thick enough to accommodate whatever unit you're going to use for your paints. Okay, so now the fun begins. You get to decorate, right? This is the funnest part. At least I think so. Now I don't have a lot of papers. I've got rid of a lot of scrapbook paper when I moved. I donated it. But I do have these little mini 6x6s, I think, that I got at the dollar store. They look like this. 6x6. And Dollar Tree, I think I got these at. And they're cute. And I thought they're the perfect size to make something with. And they've got these really pretty blues, which is what I think I'll go with, blues and browns. Like, that's pretty. And you know I'm going to vintage it up. You know I'm going to not be able to resist making it grungy. So I think I will go with these. So basically all I'm going to do now is cover these book pages. So you can use a thinner paper and wrap the edges. I like the edges showing. I find it's more rustic. But again, it's entirely up to the look you're after. So I'm basically just going to glue these down. And why isn't that straight? There we go. So they almost fit pretty good. So I think I'm going to add to the rusticness of this by gluing it a little bit bigger and then sanding them later. Does that make sense? Maybe just sanding the edges. And I am just going to choose whatever papers I like. I don't really have much of a method here. I'm going to decorate these after. Right now, my goal is just to cover up this ugly brown with some pretty papers. So I'm just going to throw that on. And what I like to do is, while it's drying, I like to bend it. Now I meant to bring out, I did bring it, haha, my trusty little bone folder thing here, which I really should use more often. And I like to, because sometimes this scrapbook paper is pretty heavy. And so it doesn't always fold in the lines as nicely as I would like. So I think what I'm going to do is find that tape line and just kind of help it as it's gluing. Just push that in. Kind of helps stretch the paper too. Okay. Still not glued. Do I need glue over here? No, that's good. So there's one page. Okay. I'll do another page with another color. Let's see. This is kind of pretty. And again, I'm just basically wallpapering this whole thing. I'm not worried about where the creases are or where the paper sits or what direction the paper's in. Just having fun gluing it down and covering up the ugly brown. This is where your creativity comes in and what papers and things appeal to you. And this makes your book yours. So I'm going to find that crease again. I'm just going to try and push that in. So I think we'll cover it in paper, maybe do one envelope, and then I'll show you in the next video how I build the little box to fit and hold in. And it doesn't have to be a box, it can be stickers. No, it can be a, what's the word I'm looking for? You can punch holes in and put a strong elastic in to hold your little case of paints. But I think I'm going to do the box. I'm going to think on that for a bit. Because I'm making this up as I go, I don't want to lead you astray and say, hey, do it this way, and then I can't even do it. So I want to make sure I kind of really think it through before I offer you any solutions or ideas on how to attach your glue, how to attach your paint into your book. So just find the joint here and then push it in. And hopefully this will glue nicely. These pages actually fit perfect. Really happy with the way they are fitting on this. I mean, they're $1.50, right? That's kind of cute. So again, you're just gonna squeeze it, make sure that the pieces are stuck in there. Any trimming we can do after. So I wouldn't try to do that until it's dry. And one more, what else have we got? This is pretty. Do that, maybe we'll put that on the cover, which is here. It's a bit busy for me for the cover. I like it a little more simplified, so I'm gonna put it, I think I'll put it right here. What a pretty piece of paper. So I don't know if this would be considered mini, maybe just, I would call this a portable watercolor lap book. How about that? Portable sounds right. Okay. Ooh, that's shorter. That side, there we go. Find my creases. And you can, of course, sew things in here. Don't think I'm going to get that elaborate. We'll see, though. We never know where this is going to take us. So there's that side. Pull that in. I'll wait for this one to dry a little bit so I don't stretch paper out. I'll flip it over. And we'll put in some papers to do the other side. So these are a little bit, ooh, I like this paisley one. Like a paisley, Scottish paisley design. So we're getting right into the blues a lot, which is okay. I'm feeling the blues. I'm feeling it. These are a different kind of blue. There. Pinks. I'm not in the mood for pink right now. These are all pinks, I think. So there was 2 packs. There was this pack and a blue pack. Here's another blue. Okay. Well, I think I like this muted blue for the cover. And I like to go right over the edges a little, even though it's a little bit more work when it comes to covering these. I'm probably end up putting something down the spines anyways. So just bear in mind, though, that when you do decorate the outside, the second one in from the right-hand side is actually going to be your cover. This goes inside. This goes inside, and so this is your cover of your book. So bear that in mind as well when you're decorating, that it's the second one in. So I think actually I will cut this down to fit on here. Just because I think I'm going to do something different here, like a piece of lace or something, and I don't want to build up too much weight on the corners. So I'm again just gonna eyeball it because I'm not upset if it's crooked. I'll just cover it. So I'm gonna go right there and try and get it as straight as I can, and then glue it down. That way I can decide on what I want to do for the spines. Maybe I want to put some fabric on there. Maybe I want to put some holes in it and hold a paintbrush. Who knows? So you're kind of thinking about these things while you're building it, having fun doing the decorative part. And I'll do the same for this piece. A lot of this paper on the inside too is going to get covered because you're going to put envelopes and stuff. So you don't have to worry too much. Again, just going to cut, eyeball, but take your time and measure. That's your forte. This is the 3-in-1 that I'm using. It's great glue. Pricey, but good glue. Like industrial strength kind of glue. But it can be forgiving on some things, so if you do screw up, some things you can pull off, some things you can't. But it glues all kinds of different mediums, which is nice. All right, maybe this guy. So this will be the back cover. I quite like that. Put the flowers this way. And again, this one I'm going to cut, because I think I'm going to decorate the outside of these spines. That was pretty crooked, I think. You think you'd improve when you cut without measuring, but I have not improved. Maybe you do have to measure over and over again, and then you get better. All right, cover that. That one's covered. Still slippery. What I like about that 3-in-1 is it gives you a good 30 seconds or so to make adjustments. All right, and let's do this guy. And I'm going to do that. Hopefully I'm in frame. I don't even know where my camera is sitting. Everything keeps getting shoved over this way, and I think my camera's more over that way. Okay, that was pretty crooked. Give that another little trim. That or this is crooked. Something's crooked. Or knowing me, they're both crooked. Again, I'm going to do a wraparound on the spine, so it's going to come over a little bit on the edge, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to stress. There's some glue on here. Oops. That I know will be out of camera zone. There we go. Okay. Throw this down. Oh, that might have been a bit too much glue. And there we go. And you can buy those cute little book corner pieces. You can go all out. Excuse me. There we go. So much stuff everywhere. And our envelopes fit in there, which is what we want. Now this is the outside, of course. Whoops. Excuse me. I looked at that glue. It might not have glued. Oh, need a little glue in there. Okay, the rest glued. So there it is. So far, so we need to do our spines, decide what we want to do. Excuse me. Make sure everything's glued. So anywhere there's glue popping out here like this, I mean paper that's not glued, not glue popping out, you want to put a little bit in there and close it off. And make sure everything's glued nice. And I might take some sandpaper to this later. We'll see. We'll see how rustic I want to make this one. All right, so there's our little book. And I don't know if I have any of my goodies out right now. So I think we'll stop here. But if you do decide to make one of these, you can start thinking about where you want to put things. So for example, I might want to put one of my little envelopes for my thank you cards. I might want to glue it here to this side so that it can pop out like this, and it can hold watercolor paper. I could put it here. But the first thing you want to do for sure is figure out where you want to put your thing of paint. I usually like to put mine on the inside of the front cover here. So here's the inside of the cover, and here's the front cover. I like to frame it here. So I'm going to either decide to build a box like I did in the original, that the paint sits snugly in, or I might put a hole through here, like a reinforced hole, and just tie them in with an elastic. Now doing that, I would probably move it off this page and put it to the back, or even the side, the inside, so that the tie that goes through is here and not on my front cover. So these are the things you need to kind of think about as you're going. But that's step one of our Lapbook, our watercolor portable Lapbook, travel Lapbook, however you want to say it. So hope you're building along with me, and we'll release the next video very soon. All right, guys, take care. Bye.